We're going to start on body work. And since I've painted cars through college and got stoned off of lacquer, you know, when you start getting high on lacquer, the car gets really far away. So you start painting, and eventually the nose hits the car, and you're like, how did that happen? Oh, I got to take a breather. And big headache afterwards. But we have a ringer with us that's had his own collision shop that loves restoring.
Andre the Ringer!
And he's, for lack of a better term, he's really good at shiny. Really good at shiny. And guess what? Shiny doesn't shiny doesn't finish with the actual shiny coat. Shiny starts at the metal level.
Oh, I thought it was clear coat that made it shiny.
No.
Clear coat makes it worse if it's not shiny.
It's, clear coat, for a quality paint job, substrate preparation is the first through the 10th priority.
Wow.
The painter, the actual painting, that's the easy part. Mm-hmm. There are quirks to it, but it's all in surface prep. You do your surface prep right, you can get a good paint job. You can screw up a paint job also if you don't know what you're doing, but even if you did screw up, the basics are there. You sand it down, you shoot it again. But you know, we see in Michigan when I was growing up, I would see lots of restored cars that were finished with a DA, a dual action orbital sander. This is where Andre cringes. Make the cringing face.
Do the cringe.
Right?
Cringe harder.
Because if you do it with a DA or a circular sanding pad, and then you go to paint it, you shoot it in primer, and it looks flat, but it ain't flat. It's doing this. And you'd see these cars going to car shows, and in Detroit, they were all rust buckets at one point, because you didn't go buy stuff in California and haul it back. That was crazy. Now they do it all the time. But, you know, from the middle of the car on down, you know, and it drives the guys that spend all the time making them flat crazy.
So Chuck, that's not the same thing as orange peel.
No.
No. Orange peel is what, and how does that happen?
Orange peel is, let me defer to the guy that actually did this for a living.
To the Andre.
Orange peel is every finish generally factory has orange peel in it.
Oh, interesting.
This is mildly peely.
But if you go and look at your car, depending on how old it is, you'll see that there's orange peel, and there's a reason why they do it. Orange peel is how the paint layer flows out. And the reason why they leave a little bit of orange peel is unless you take a car like this, I'm just using this as an example, and you restored it, and you went all the way down, you put in a filler primer, and then you used a long straight edge to make sure that this is completely flat on its plane. If you take out all the orange peel, you'll get this mirage look, and it'll look wavy. You know, and a lot of cars, they are wavy. So if you take a factory car and remove all that, then it'll really look wavy. And it's not really wavy, but it's not true. So, you know, when you go and you use a straight edge and you get this nice and flat in the primer, and then you shoot color and clear over it, then you can take almost all of the orange peel out of it, and it won't look wavy. But the little bit of ripple tricks your eye, so you don't get that mirage feeling like when you're driving down the highway.
So is it
and it
covering
looks like
up
water.
imperfections then? Is that what it's doing?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
It kind of hides it.
Because people that look, we've got a T-Bird and there's some orange peel, and people are saying, oh, that's obviously where they did some touch-up. Not necessarily.
Or as I'm seeing here, as I see a lot of paint jobs here, I haven't used much paint here, but when I paint my Avanti, I will not be using paint from here. I do not.
It's not legal.
I don't. I'm not a shop.
Oh, darn.
It's on tape.
No one knows where we're
It's
at.
on digital.
Hold on, let me rewind it.
That's funny.
Anyway, I don't.
Oh,
But it just seems that either whoever shoots it is not using a slow enough reducer, or it's just too hot when they shoot it. and it doesn't give the chance for the paint to flow out, and by flow out I mean like flatten out. So then it looks like the surface of an orange. And then if you do that with the base and then you shoot clear over it, clear magnifies all your mistakes. A lot. So when I shine cars, it's like, what's this? I'm like, well, you can see it now because it's nice and shiny, but and like, you can't get that out. I'm like, yeah, if I sanded it off and then reshot your whole fender and cleared it, because that's below the pigment layer. Yeah. They're like, I never saw that before. I'm like,
Well, it's there now. It was there before too. No, so this really, I was the manager, the plant manager for the Bowling Green plant where they make Corvettes, was launching the XLR, and that's why I sold them. Well, this was as they were launching it, so we didn't know much about it at that point. But he threatened me with physical. He was going to beat the shit out of me if the changes that I made to his paint line resulted in a non-shiny car. Well, how shiny is shiny? And the changes didn't impact anything, but the point is that it's something that a lot of people focus on, and the only way to really get it right is substrate prep. Just a very quick question. I'm asking this because we've been doing it for about a year now, which bakes my mind. Are you guys getting anything out of it?
Oh, yes.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
Okay, I wonder about it. I wanted to share some information. And we're going in a slightly different direction now because we found out, not a huge difference in direction. Before it was just about working on the car and getting it running and all that stuff. Well, we did that, kind of. But now we're actually restoring it, and it turns out these things actually have some value. So, and we've got a big enough crew here, let's try to do the cosmetics right to the best of our ability, and we could end up with a halfway decent car when we're done. Won't be perfect, but that's okay, because we saved it from the crusher. Before we do that though, I want to do a little bit of show and tell because this is something extremely unusual. Actually, I have two show and tells for tonight, and then we'll get on to the painting of, or the surface prep, step one. I have two show and tells. So let's go this way. Well, no, let's go this way. Let's go this way. Because you almost never see this ever. I only know a handful of people that have even looked under the hood of a Ford, much less inside the engine. So, well, I'm starting here. This is a flathead head. This is a cord head. It's off that cord right there that belongs to this really wacky guy.
he's talking about you.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's
It's a
from
V8,
one wacky guy to
V8,
another.
right?
Okay, so this is a flathead head. It's also made of aluminum, which was very rare and unusual at this point in time. And I simply cannot get over the thickness and the weight of this head. It doesn't weigh hardly anything. I can sit there and do that with it because it's very lightweight. So
Just the head's aluminum or the engine?
the head.
Okay.
No, the entire.
The head is aluminum. Anyway, this is a 1936 head. Okay, so what is that, 86 years? Something like that? Yeah, something like that. It's old.
And there was nothing like it back then, right?
Oh, this engine was designed and built by Lycoming. Now, at the time, Lycoming was, they started out as a sewing machine manufacturer, then they started building engines, then Auburn Cord Duesenberg bought them, and they furnished engines for about 10 years, actually longer than that, but 10 years, Lycoming was an in-house brand of Auburn Cord Duesenberg. And then they sold it, and they continued to make automotive engines. This was the last automotive engine they designed, was this Cord V8. It is it's wacky. Here, we'll go over here and I'll show you what I mean.